Hello from beautiful Tanjong Beach in Singapore. Today's sequence is a yin practice, and in this one we'll be focusing primarily on the energetic aspect of the postures. We'll be targeting the liver meridian, working to stimulate the energy in this meridian through stretching and gentle compression. However, on the physical level, most of the postures will involve the hips. So although this is primarily designed to be a relaxing practice, depending on your level of flexibility in the hips, you may find some of the postures a little bit challenging. You can do this practice without any props, but if you've got tight hips, you're probably going to want some sort of height, such as a block or blanket or cushion. That sounds good? Come and meet me on the mat. Starting out sitting on the mats, go ahead and open your legs into a wide-legged V, coming into the dragonfly position. You can face whatever direction you like. I like to have my heels on the mat, so I'll be facing this way. Now, if your legs don't open up that wide, that's okay. Just come into your maximum. If you find that your back is rounding, then place a height underneath your seats, whether a block or a rolled up blanket or a cushion, so that you can find a straight spine. If you don't have a height available, then another option you can take is to bend one leg. Physically, we're going to go for finding stretch through the inner thigh. You might also feel a stretch somewhere else. Everyone's body is different. You might feel this in the lower back or calf or somewhere else. So first you're here with a straight spine, the legs wide. Take a deep breath in through your nose and let it out through your mouth. We'll do that 2 more times. Breathe in and exhale. The last one. Inhale and exhale. Now invite your breath to find a steady, relaxed rhythm. See if you can keep that steady rhythm going throughout the rest of the practice. And if you forget, don't worry, I'm going to be reminding you. Now, if where you are right now is your maximum, and this is already feeling quite intense, then you can just stay here. You have room to go a little deeper, and you can slowly walk your hands forward and start to bring your heart closer to the ground. I'm just coming into your maximum, knowing that we're going to hold this pose for 3 minutes. Now, no one's going to force you to do anything, so you do always have the option to back off a little if it gets too intense. But we're gonna see if it's possible to hold this position for the full 3 minutes. So once you get to where you want to be, come back to your breath. Just observing the sensation. So in the practice of yin, it's a very passive practice, meaning that we're not trying to force anything, we're not trying to make anything happen, we're just allowing whatever's going to happen when we place our body into this particular shape. And in this sequence, we're focusing on the liver meridian. The meridian is the pathway of energy that travels through the body. There are 6 meridians that start or end in the feet. The liver meridian starts in the foot on the inner edge of the big toe. And so we're going to guide our attention along the pathway of this meridian. So the meridian starts here at the inner side of the base of the big toe, and it travels in between your metatarsal bones here along the top of the foot. And there's a really important acupuncture point right here on the bridge of your foot called liver 3. And then the meridian continues up in front of your inner ankle, and it comes up along the shin bone. Then it makes its way back onto your calf, comes up behind the knee, and then it crosses back onto the front of the leg, comes up along the top of the leg, runs along the side of the pubic bone, and I'm showing you on one side, but this is on both sides, and then it makes its way up through your abdomen. It's going to enter your liver on this side. The meridian will continue inside your body to make its way up through the throat, to the eyes, and finally to the vertex of the head. So this pathway of energy is really traveling throughout the entire body. I'll say more about that later. For now, I'm going to come out of this posture. So go ahead and slowly make your way up to sitting. And then very slowly draw your legs closer together. And we're going to take a quick rebound here. Allow your legs to straighten out, lean back onto your elbows. And just observe the sensations in your legs and your hips. What we've just done is we've both stretched out and compressed the liver meridian. So for those minutes, we made it more difficult for energy to flow through that pathway. And now we've removed the obstruction, so the energy is able to flow again. If you'd like, you can close your eyes and observe what that feels like. With slow, relaxed breaths. Open your eyes and make your way onto your belly, supporting yourself on your elbows. We're coming into a sphinx pose next. Here as well, there are options to be able to find the placement that feels right to you. You can start out with your elbows directly below your shoulders. Your hands can be flat on the ground, palms down, forearms parallel. If this feels perfect, then you can stay here. If you feel a little bit too much compression in the lower back, you can scoot your elbows forward. If you feel like you'd like a little more, you can bring them closer to your body. And also take the option of bringing your palms together in a prayer position. This can be a gesture of gratitude and appreciation for our liver, which does a large number of very important things for the body. Now, if you're feeling a bit tired, or you'd like a little more relaxation, one really nice option is to come onto your elbows like so, and then rest your chin on your hands. And here you can close your eyes as well if you like. This is really quite decadent. Coming back to your breath. Noticing if it's still even and steady. While we're here, we'll take our attention back to our liver. It's located on the right side of the body, just underneath your diaphragm and on top of your stomach. Some of the essential functions that the liver performs relate to the immune system. For one, it contributes to the body's ability to resist infection by removing bacteria from the blood. And for another, whenever we consume something that's toxic, when it reaches the liver breaks that substance down into a form that is non-toxic, that is benign, that's no longer harmful to the body. When you stop to think about that, it's really pretty amazing. I think it's fair to describe that as a superpower. And yet, as amazing as that is, the liver is just one small part of the immune system. Sometimes we can forget that, and we can just feel completely vulnerable to exposure to disease. It's nice to remind ourselves that we're not powerless against exposure to toxic elements or harmful bacteria. We do have this natural army of miniature but incredibly complex defenses inside us. And there are various factors that can weaken our immune system. Stress is one of the biggest factors that can do that. So never feel guilty about giving yourself time to relax. I'm going to give you an option. You can either stay here, or if you'd like to make this a little deeper, you can bring your hands down onto the mat, and then inhale, lift up into seal pose. Obviously a deeper back bend. This is also gentle stretching of the liver meridian through the upper body and through the hip area. If this becomes too much at any time, you can come back to your sphinx pose. We'll be here for just a few more breaths. We'll transition out of this pose now by lifting up onto our hands and knees, tabletop position. And take a very slow motion cow pose. Inhale, arching your spine, enjoying that sensation. And then exhale, round the spine, tucking your chin in toward your chest, navel coming back toward your spine. And then exhale, sit back onto your heels, resting your forehead down on the mat, coming into a child's pose. This feels good. Stay here with your arms stretched out, or if you'd like to, you can bring your hands underneath your forehead, stacking them one on top of the other to make a pillow, and then rest here in that variation of child's pose. Allowing the body to rest. Noticing the sensation of the breath here. Check to see where you feel the expansion happening when you breathe in. Are you feeling it through your back, through your rib cage? Very nice massage for the back and abdominal organs. In this pose, we are compressing the liver meridian through the groin area and the knees. And we'll come out of this one, not staying here as long, that was just our rebound pose. Come up to sitting, preparing for our shoelace pose. So taking your right leg and bringing the right foot just outside your left hip bone, pointing the knee forward. And then you'll take your left leg, stacking left knee on top of right, and then placing the left foot outside your right hip. This may feel amazing, or it may feel horrific, depending on your skeleton and the flexibility of your hips. If this is excruciating or very uncomfortable, then you can take a height once again and place that underneath your buttocks. If even that is not helping you, then what you can do is straighten out your bottom leg. So that'll be your half shoelace. See how that feels. You may also want to be on a little height here. From our shoelace pose, first option is just to be sitting straight up. And if you are sitting, one thing you can do is place your hands on your feet, a little massage to the bottom and the top of the foot. So earlier I mentioned this point, liver 3, that's on top of your foot. It's known as the Great Surge, and this is key acupuncture points for releasing stagnant chi. Ideally, in a perfect world, and if we're in perfect health, then energy is going to be flowing freely and easily throughout this meridian. But life being what it is, sometimes we can get thrown a bit out of balance. And this energy can either become blocked or obstructed, or it can become depleted. So this is a really nice point for addressing stagnation and blockages. A great surge. Now it's your option to stay here with your spine straight, or you can take your hands to the mat and walk them forward. Just see how far forward you'd like to come. Maybe your head remains lifted, or maybe you'd like to relax your neck and allow your forehead to come down. If you have a block, one really nice thing to do is create a support for the forehead. Just let your forehead rest on the block. If you don't have a block, you can also do the same thing by creating a little tower with your fists and then resting your forehead down. Breathing in slowly and exhaling completely. Here once again, we're compressing the liver meridian through the knees, the groin area. Observing the sensations. This might feel uncomfortable. And if it does, that's okay. If it's painful, that's not okay, and you'll want to back out a little bit, be gentle with yourself. But you want to find your edge, that spot where you're still in the zone of discomfort, you're not in the zone of pain, but you're kind of right on the border between those two. And then we settle into stillness there, and we keep our attention on that sensation, and we watch what happens. We wait to see if that sensation of discomfort remains. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it just melts away. And when the discomfort melts away, blockage has melted away as well. That's what we are doing with this practice, is seeking to remove blockages. We'll be here for about 10 more seconds. Just stay with it. With your next inhale, slowly lift up to sitting. And we're going to transition directly into our next posture, which is square. So we're going to slide our right foot forward, creating a line here with our shin that's parallel to the front of the mat. And then, if possible, you're going to stack your foot and your knee on top of your other foot and knee, like so. If this is way too much, what you can do is come into more of a cross-legged position. Once again, sitting on a height if you need to. Inhale for a long spine. Exhale, walk your hands as far forward as you'll go. Bringing your heart as far forward and as close to the mat as possible. If you can rest your forehead either on a block or on your fist, go ahead and do that. If not, that's okay. Just keep yourself supported. Close your eyes if you like. Send your breath to any areas of tightness. If you're feeling points of discomfort, send the breath there. Inviting obstructions, tightness, whatever's causing the sensation of discomfort, will just melt away. Knowing that that may not happen today. Allowing mentally for the possibility that it may. The energy of the liver meridian is associated with several psycho-emotional aspects. And when the energy of this meridian is flowing easily and freely, it's associated with kindness, compassion, benevolence, generosity, planning, and creativity. And when that energy is obstructed, it can be experienced as frequent frustration or anger, the inability to relax. And when it's depleted, it can be associated with fatigue or jealousy or depression. Things that can cause this blockage or stagnation can be stress, certain foods, certain other emotional experiences. But energy can always transform. So if I'm experiencing those negative aspects, just know that there is the possibility of transforming that into its opposite. Transforming fatigue into energy, anger into delight, jealousy into compassion, depression into joy. And sometimes these things take time. And sometimes there's a moment where it just happens. With your next inhale, slowly lift up to sitting. And uncross your legs. That should feel good. And then come down, lying on your back. We're just taking a quick rebound shavasana here, letting everything straighten out. And observing the sensations in your hips, your legs, in your mind. Coming up to sitting, we've got to do the other side for balance. This time we're bending the left knee, pointing it forward, and stacking the right knee on top into sitting. Another massage for the feet if you like. Observing if this is easier or more difficult than the other side. And then if it's available, walking your hands forward, lowering your heart closer to the mat. Coming into your deepest pose. Surrendering to where you are. Coming back to your breath. Simply observing the sensations that arise. If resistance arises, observing that too. Staying present. for about 10 more seconds. Inhale to slowly lift up, back to sitting. And then transition your legs into square on the side. The left shin parallel to the front of the mat. The right shin stacked on top of left. Or coming into your cross-legged pose if you like. Walking your hands forward. And exhaling, letting yourself sink into your deepest pose. Come back to your breath. Do a strong compression of the liver meridian, particularly through the groin area, also through the knees. If you notice that any emotions arise, sometimes anger, sometimes resentment when you're in these uncomfortable poses, please know that's totally normal. And it's actually a positive sign. So whatever comes up to be healed. Whatever comes up is something that's been in your body for a long time, lingering in your cells. And it's coming up to the surface now to be released. You don't have to carry it anymore. Just let it go. Just about 5 more seconds here. In slow motion, come up to sitting and release your legs. Setting your heels on the ground, keeping the knees bent for a minute, resting back on your hand, and just slowly windshield wiper the knees back and forth. And then let your left leg straighten, let your right leg straighten, and let yourself come all the way down to the mat. So you might be happy to know that was our last yin posture. It's getting closer to the final shavasana. Last thing we'll do is just bend the knees, hug your knees into the chest, and gently rock side to side. And then if you'd like, take a happy baby, rising your soles of the feet up to face the sky, grabbing the outside of the feet, or if you can't reach them, just grab the ankles. And pressing the knees towards the ground on either side of your torso. Maybe rock side to side if you like. And then releasing the legs, you'll come into your final resting pose, your final shavasana. Your heels out near the edges of the mat. Your arms a little distance away from the body. Your palms are facing up. The back of your head resting on the mats. Your eyelids closing. Coming back to your breath, taking a long, slow breath in. Feeling your belly rise. And a slow, long exhale, letting all the breath go, feeling your belly button sinking towards your spine. Breathing in again, feeling yourself becoming lighter. Breathing out, feeling yourself sinking into the mat. Continuing the rhythm of the breath. Feeling the relaxation of just being still and quiet. Feeling the pleasure of doing nothing. Of just observing what you feel. Of seeing what there is to discover inside of you. Of discovering what your body has to tell you. You can stay here longer if you like. If you're ready to move, you can bring the feet closer together and release your fingers, stretch them overhead. Nice long stretch. And bending your knees, take yourself onto either side. Give yourself a moment in the fetal position. And when you're ready, making your way up into a seated position. If you're not used to practicing yin, you may feel a bit of soreness tonight or tomorrow, but that is normal, and rest assured it will come back to feeling good. If you enjoyed that, I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to leave me a comment below, and if you'd like to see other classes like that, or other types of yoga, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I wish you a wonderful rest of your day or night. Namaste.